Hello, Adams. This is Miss Kovarik, and I'm here with Unit 2B, Lesson 17 for CKLA, and this chapter is called The Birth of a New Religion. Here is your vocabulary for this chapter. Our first word is an adjective, inauspicious, which means not suggesting future success. They think they're going to be a failure. The Bedouins is a noun, and these are Arabic people who lived in the desert. Predators is a noun, and these are animals that hunt other animals. Plummets is a verb, and it means to drop very fast. Oral is an adjective, and that is related to speaking or the voice. Bustling is a verb. It means hurrying or moving fast and with purpose. Wares is a noun, and those are goods or products that a merchant or shop would sell. Vulnerable is an adjective, and that means weak or hopeless. Scorching is an adjective, and that means very hot. Raiders are a noun, and those are robbers. Humble is an adjective, and that means to be modest, not extravagant. Reputation is a noun, and that is the opinion people hold about something or someone. And integrity is a noun, and that means honesty. Okay, so we are on chapter 11, the birth of a new religion. And our big question for this chapter is, how did Muhammad become one of the most influential religious leaders of all time? No one present at Muhammad's birth could have guessed his future. He had an inauspicious beginning. Although he belonged to the tribe that ruled the town of Mecca and looked after its shrine, Muhammad's father died before he was born. In the 6th century in Arabia, your father's death meant you were legally an orphan, and your position in society was not secure. How did an orphan, born in a remote part of Arabia, become one of the most influential religious figures of all time? How did a boy in the desert grow to found a new religion and a mighty empire? While still a baby, Muhammad was sent by his mother to be nursed and raised, as was traditional for infants in Mecca. In the desert among the Bedouins, removing a child from its mother may seem cruel, but at the time it was actually a way of keeping babies safe. Illness was more common in crowded towns, and if babies became ill there was no modern medicine to cure them. The desert was healthier. Life for the Bedouins was difficult and dangerous. Finding enough water in the desert to survive was a constant struggle, and there were barely enough crops and cattle to feed everyone. From a very young age, Muhammad worked for his foster family. As a boy, he would have tended to the camels, taking them to the well to drink and watching out for hyenas and other predators. At night, in the desert, the sky is very clear and the temperature plummets. In the freezing air under the stars, the men of the tribe would recite long oral poems, stories of battles won, of grand adventures, of loves gained and loves lost. Hours-long poems were recited by heart. The Bedouins valued honor, bravery, and survival in the face of hardship. Their tales were full of those values, and Muhammad would have absorbed them. We got two pictures here, the desert with the camels, and that is a modern-day Bedouin boy. Muhammad, though, believed to have been illiterate, understood clearly the importance of words and stories. For the Bedouins, life in the desert was one of poverty and danger. There are still Bedouins today, some who lead similar lives to those of their ancestors. If you wish to cross the Arabian desert, the Bedouins are your best guides. They know how to find water, handle camels, and how to survive. Back in Mecca. At 5, Muhammad was taken from his Bedouin foster family, the only family he had ever known, and returned to Mecca and his mother. Imagine how strange the city must have seemed after the empty desert. People bustling through the streets, merchants shouting about their wares, rich and poor living side by side. Just a year after Muhammad returned to Mecca, his mother died. This is an illustration of Mecca. He then lived with his elderly grandfather, the head of the tribe, until he also died just 2 years later. In his first 8 years of life, Muhammad had lost both parents, had been taken away from his foster family, and had then lived with his grandfather only for him too to die. This was a time when death and disease were common, but even so, Muhammad had a tragic childhood. These losses may have made Muhammad particularly sensitive to the least powerful in society. He later preached that it was very important to help the most vulnerable, including orphans. Fortunately, Muhammad's uncle Abu Talib is the new head of the tribe, and he took him in. From the age of 8, Muhammad worked looking after the camels, traveling along Mecca's trade routes. These trade routes were very dangerous. It was while traveling along them that Muhammad's father had died. The desert was scorching in the day and freezing at night. Most people walked for hundreds of miles, as camels were needed to carry the goods. During the day, they had to watch for raiders who would attack caravans and leave the people to die. At night, people took turns keeping watch for wolves, hyenas, or thieves attempting to steal the camels. Muhammad rose from being a humble camel boy to a merchant and his uncle's closest advisor. He earned a reputation for integrity. As a young man, Muhammad caught the eye of a wealthy widow and successful merchant named Khadijah, who asked Muhammad to marry her. Muhammad agreed, and they are said to have had a very happy and successful marriage, resulting in several children. The Revelations. All right, we're going to stop there actually. We'll finish reading that chapter tomorrow. Here are your questions for today. Number one, sorry, I wanted to make sure that we had no more reading. What is not true about Muhammad's life so it tells you where to go, the second paragraph on page 112. Number 2, true or false, most infants in Mecca stayed with their mother. Number 3, Muhammad's mother sent him away when he was a baby because he was less likely to blank in the desert. Number 4, what work did Muhammad do for his Bedouin foster family? Number 5, the Bedouins lived a dangerous life, true or false? Number 6, the Bedouins wrote short poems about their life. Number 7, life in Mecca was no different than life in the desert. Number 8, what hardships did Muhammad face after returning to Mecca? Number 9, which is not a danger of Muhammad's job? And number 10 is using this quote, and it asks, what can we infer from these sentences about Muhammad's behavior while working for his uncle? So infer means you're going to take what you can learn in this paragraph and you're going to make an assumption. So use the information from this. Which one of these is most likely true? All right, we will finish up this chapter next time, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye, Adams.